Hi folks, welcome back. It's the end of 2022 and I thought I'd give you a little bit of a rundown on some of the projects that I've got going on in the shop. I'm just coming off of about a 2-week stint with the flu, 3 months of production and rehearsals for 2 plays. Shop's a mess, but I am going to make progress this week. And the reason I'm going to make progress is it's cold as all get out outside now from this Arctic blast. And we're bunkered up and I've stocked the shop with lots of things that we can work on. First thing that you're seeing right here is a new shelving system I'm going to put together. Now it's going to be down and dirty and built like a tank because I'm going to put my vices all in it. I got some stuff ripped out yesterday with the help of my wife, and over the next couple days we're going to use this 3/4 inch wood, some scrap 2x4s I have, and we're going to make a stand that I can put all my vices and heavy stuff that goes on tables like rotary tables and indexers are all going to be stored in this. Been working out here, having to make some true sayings on signs, you know. Oh, sorry, can't help myself. Like I say, it's been a heck of a couple months. I just brought back my computer with a sound system on it for this show that I was in. The game's afoot. Got to take it back and store it. Funny thing, this is the playbill from the show 4 or 5 years ago when I was in it, and we started putting it on here in Navasota, and should have seen the director's eyes light up when I told him I already had the soundtrack for it. All the gunshots and screams and sirens and thunder, all laid out in a program all ready to go. Glad I keep things like that. This is the Bridgeport rebuild. There's part of the table right there. It's been planed and it's waiting to be hand scraped. This, we smoothed it all out and Don came over and painted it. And it's sitting there ready to go back together. And I've had a change of heart. I'll show you about that in a minute. This is going to get repainted with a friend of mine's paint that I found that he really loves. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. I got to go through all this. This is a sandblaster sand recovery system. You hook this up to your sandblaster and it sucks all the media into it and funnels out the bad stuff and returns it back to the box. I just got to get it up there to hook up to, let's see if I can see, that sandblaster right up there. But to get that up there, I need a chain hoist. And so I've got plans, and there's a piece of I-beam right there for it. We're going to make a motorized trolley chain hoist that comes out over off the mezzanine and lands right here. Cats are going to have to move. That yellow thing up there is a 1-ton electric winch with a motor, so I can sit down here and roll it back and forth off the mezzanine without having to go up there. It's going to make it nice. Just got to get Don over here. Don and I have been staying away from each other because of the dadgum COVID outbreak and everything. I don't want to get him sick. This flu would have killed him. Next thing is going up, and that's what that long piece of rail right there is for, is to finish the stair rail on this movable stairs. I've got a ladder over there that I can go up and down with when this is in its up position to let machines move in and out of those doors. Just got to finish the little thing off, and that'll be done this week too. Now I was telling you about my there's an Axelson 16. I'm just about made up my mind that once I finish it and paint it up and everything, I'm going to sell it. I've just run out of room here. Just run out of room. Anyway, you know, these vices and things get pretty heavy. Inside that box is an LS chuck that's got a rotary table and tailstock and all that on it, a rotary indexer. And I want to keep it in that box because it keeps everything together. But man, I've been moving it off the table onto the lift, off the table onto the lift. So that's why I'm making a dedicated cabinet. And this was just the back of an envelope scratching. I'm going to make a cabinet that's 67 inches tall and 2 foot wide, 2 foot deep, and a shelf with 16 on the bottom and then go up to 10. And what happens is I've measured all these shelves out to where they go to 54 inches tall, because this hydraulic table lift will go to 55 inches. And you just pump it and go on. I love this thing so much, I went and bought another one. So, but as you notice, the heavy things get kind of stored on them. So I got everything in line going towards that door. Progress is going to be made this weekend. Then we'll start rebuilding all those tools over there. Well, there's not there many. There's a Camelback over there, and then a bandsaw, and this Brown & Sharp #1 cylindrical grinder. The heat treating oven sitting right here because I need to heat treat some things. Before we get to that though, this is my project lineup table. Those are some parts for some keypads that we need to make. They've been hanging around here for 3 months. Just haven't had time to take the time and do it. That's a keypad post over there. I can't bend them like that. I can't buy them like that anymore. So I'm going to make them like this for a while till I get time to make a bender. This little item is my wife's Christmas present. She wanted a thing to hold bird feeders. So we're going to use a piece of 4x4. It's 12 foot long. We're going to bury it in the ground. And on the top of that, I bought her a nice little weather vane that's going to mount on the top. And today I've got to mess with that. This is a press cap. It's going to go on top of that post. And this was its mounting base. So instead of reinventing the wheel, what I've done is I've marked right here on each side. And I need to bend those where they come down and go around that cap like that and then attach to the post, which is pretty easy to do when you have the right bending equipment. Oh look, the right bending equipment. We'll fire that up in a minute and bend those suckers. I know it's kind of loud in here. It's a machine shop. Get used to it. either side of that. Clamped to the post very nicely now. Here's one of the vices that's going to go live in that cabinet. I got about 5 different vices running around, and nice to have a place to move them. And with these lift tables, you could just pick them right up, and I'll be able to slide that right onto the rack, and life will be good. Anyway, that's what the wife's getting for Christmas. Fancy pole, get it done before Christmas. Here's another project that I haven't really shown you guys. It doesn't look like much sitting right there. Can anybody guess what it is? Or your guesses down in the comments. And I'll come back to it and tell you about it a little bit later in the video. There's 2 things. Now this is the one that everybody seems to be the most interested in. These are the cast iron rails that I went over to Windy Hill Foundry, and Clark and I spent 2 days casting them. I spent about 2 hours yesterday outside with a wire brush, some flap discs. I'll show you the little video of that. Hi guys. Out here trying to get these rails cleaned up so I can take them into the shop before it gets frigid tomorrow. I'm going to try to needle blast them and then take this little grinder and see what it looks like after I'm through with that. So let me put my Dawn ignoration tool. This ought to give y'all a close-up view of this. This is just the way it came out of the mold. Been sitting out here, and I just hit this surface with a needle scaler. I was going to hit this and see what happens. That polishes it up real nice. Cleaning them up and getting them ready to come on in here. Now, I cleaned one side off very well so it can lay down flat. And what I'm going to use is my bandsaw to cut all this stuff off. And basically, this is a 26-inch do-all bandsaw with a hydraulic table feed. And little projects like that are very easy because it's got places to clamp things down and a hydraulic feed, so I can start it and walk away for a while. So we're going to do that today. Then they'll go into the heat treating oven, and we're going to stress relieve these twice. After we get them cut, we'll stress relieve it once. They'll go on the planer, and I'll rough plane them. And then we'll stress relieve them again, and then plane them, and then hand scrape the surface here for the trolley for the grinding rail system I'm going to make. And so these are about 51 pounds as they sit right now. Now we come into the big machine room. There's my 1943 Rockford hydraulic planer. It's got a couple of straight edges laying right there. I've been getting everything in order. I know it doesn't look like it, and I jump around a lot, but I have a plan, even though Don says I don't. There's my little magnetic demagnetizer, because when you start hand scraping, your blades get all magnetized and stuff sticks them, so you need one of these to demagnetize them every once in a while. I'm trying to figure out where my sign's going to go. Where do y'all think it should go? You got Jody's little sticker up there. Don't have many stickers. Jody's the only one I've ever really gotten that I liked. There's my sticker. Really impressed me that Clark let me put it on his casting table. An AED on site in case I need one. I got one. And remember Don, I think Don's sign should go right there. A few things I forgot to talk about. One of them is this. A viewer sent me this pair. Let me see if you need more light. That's too much. Maybe not. Anyway, when I was trying to get the keys out of that shaft right there, one of the viewers said you need some, I forgot what he called them, lead dikes. You know, the dikes that people use to make stained glass. Well, I looked all over and couldn't find anything that had anything to do with lead dikes. And so he made me a pair of this, and it was very kind of him. And what he did was he took a pair of these regular old dikes and he ground off. Can y'all see that? I'm gonna get rid of the light. What he did was he took a regular pair and then he ground it down to where this surface can get right onto the table or anything you're doing and be right there and grip it very well. Whereas this surface, the cutting edge is way still up high. So it's not a big change, but it's just enough to make it easier to get things like that. He says he uses them all the time. I'm sorry, I forgot who sent them to me. I got 400 million emails and I just don't know, but thank you very much. Sending out a few stickers to people. Doing a lot of editing. That's the only bad part about a YouTube channel. What else we got going on? Oh, okay. Several of you folks may remember these. They're biaxy kits for scrapers. And I bought a big lot of them and had to pay a lot of money for them to get the whole thing. And now I don't need these because I already have a set of these two. Some people wrote in, and the first ones that came to me, the deal fell through. And so it's been so long, I thought I'd open it back up. If you send me an email, I will guard it with my life this time and tell me you're interested and we'll talk about it. And I have that one and this one. Now, those rails out there are ready to go into the oven after we cut them off, but I need to save money, more than just one thing in that oven. This is the 4-inch angled straight edge that I need to check out the Bridgeport table as I hand scrape it in. There's been several videos on making this thing. It's been heat treated once, gone in the oven. This is its second planing on this surface, and now I need to turn it over and get the bottom surface, which means tearing down all the setup and putting this one back on. But then it'll be ready to go back in the oven with those rails. things always seem to bunch up on me. I've got a bunch of scraping to do, so I'm trying to get it all where I can just sit there and scrape like a fool. Might even have Don come over and let him practice some more. Well, that brings up this little piece of hardware and the base for this Bridgeport. Now, the knee is all ready to be painted. And there we go, and we found something new. Now, a friend of mine has been using this paint to paint all of his nice restoration projects, and he loves it. He says this is like a spray can or spray gun instead of a spray can, and it really looks nice. I'll show you a couple of pictures of his here. What do you got going on over here, sir?
Well, which part are you looking at? Okay, I worked for Norton Company, and when I went to pick up this little blonde lathe in the back, this Norton #1 universal tool and cutter grinder was also sitting in the same garage.
Oh.
And so, since it said Norton Company, here I'll show you the front door on it. It allowed me to do more research on it. But here's the door on it. It clearly says Norton Company, Worcester, Massachusetts.
You tell you went to university. That's good.
So, since that was part of my...
So you have torn... Is this the base of it that you're working on?
That's the pedestal. And
that's a nice paint. What are you using for paint?
So that is just a Rust-Oleum dark gray machine paint.
Well, that's a very nice color.
Yeah, and you get it spray can. So
you rattle canned it?
Yeah, I rattle canned it because I had so many different pieces to paint that it's impossible.
Loading a gun up is very hard. Yeah.
So this was good enough for it.
I like these little drawers.
Yeah, little shelves in there to hold everything.
Or shelves, not drawers,
yeah.
Dummy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
I haven't been drinking. You've been working on all the other pieces.
But gone through everything, clean, bondoed it and painted it, and
that's a really nice finish.
Yeah, it's a good paint.
Rust-Oleum, rattle can.
Mm-hmm.
And how long does it take to dry?
Well, it's very fast drying, so you have to keep the gun, the spray can moving,
gun, the can going.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I've decided to paint the whole dadgum Bridgeport in that color, and probably anything else I ever make, because it's in a spray can, and I could do little parts without getting out a big spray rig to do, a little part. So this stuff is as good as he says it is, and he showed me the results. That's going to be a game changer. You can do just a few little parts, or you can do a whole knee, or you can do a whole base. So this base is ready to be reflaked. I've measured it, and it's maybe 2/10 difference in the whole table, or the whole uprights. So we're going to redo all that with a flake, and that'll be done. But it's been a long time since I've been flaking, so I got out some practice blanks, and I've been doing a little bit of practice. Now, to make it look the nicest I can, I've laid this out in a 45-degree grid. I'll first go this way on each line, and then I'm going to go this way on each line. And a bioxy flaker can change so dramatically just by the amount of pressure you put on it. So I've got to practice a lot before I screw it up. And you can see there, that's going one way, then those are going the other way. And how it varies by, that's the same setting. When you start off and start pushing it, I want it to be more uniform. So I might have to practice a lot. So the flaker's ready. As soon as I practice, I'll be doing that. And then we'll paint these two. And then we can start the reconstruction of the Bridgeport. Hi, baby. It's my Monarch 20-inch. Kind of blocked off by this project, but pretty soon it'll be open. I haven't needed it for anything. Been sick and so busy. This is how I make up a toolbox for each machine. These are sitting here ready to go, and you roll it up near the machine. Keeps all the stuff for that machine in the right place. I got all kinds of blocks and boring bars, and I don't need all this stuff. Kind of offered some to IC Weld. If he ever comes over to see me, we'll help him fit out his machine. But you got all kinds of things you need with these tools. This one I'm lucky to have 2 steady rests with. Anyway, there's the new X and Y axis shaft for the Bridgeport. That's sitting there ready for its regrind. Old Bridgeport M8's doing good. And over here, like I was telling you, got lots of things to scrape. These are all ready. I just need to do them. There's the Tinny's cross feed ready to go. And that is plain heat stress relieved and ready to final scrape in. What else? Well, I guess we'll end up with old Bob. Now, Bob's sitting here has kind of been attracted to all of these dial indicators, but he's ready to go to work. Got some things coming up we're going to have to do with him. I like Bob. Let's go out here, and one last thing. I promised you I'd explain what that other was. So one more. It's getting colder, guys. We're supposed to get down to around 10, 12 degrees. Y'all say goodbye to Don. He ain't going to make it through. This is a disassembled Kingway measuring device that was invented by Richard King's father, and he's been selling them for years. I don't think he sells them anymore. I know they don't make them anymore. So I'm going to need one really quick, so I'm going to have to make one. Well, this Richard gave to me about 4 or 5 years ago is the hardest part to make. And he gave this one to me, already made. It has 3 different angle threading, so you can thread the rod into it at different angles. This is all hardened and precision ground. You can turn it on a way like a V-way. And these 2 surfaces here will be what it rides on. These surfaces here are all parallel ground. You can put that on a V, like if it was going to ride on top of this V here, and that's how it would ride there. The next hardest part to make are these. Now these are castings that he gave me. They have to be bored for some 5/8 shaft, stainless shaft material that I bought. And it has to be bored through here and on this axis. What I'm going to do is put this in a 3-jaw chuck on Bob. I can wrap around this 2 here and 1 there, and then turn it and bore it. And then we're going to have to take and slit it down this line in the middle. And then you put a screw hole through here with threaded on one side, and that's what you turn with a knob to clamp the rod that goes through it onto this piece. Over the years I've been collecting the parts for this, and 2 days ago these showed up. I ordered these things almost a year ago. They were very expensive, but these are high precision level vials. And basically you put these on the two axes and level this out, and then you can measure as you're going down the track for deviation. There's two of them, and you make sort of like a T holder, one axis here and then one going north, which actually that is north. Anyway, these were really, really expensive. I had forgot about them, frankly. Anyway, that's what that is. As soon as I get more parts in here, I'll start making that. That's what old Bob's going to be doing. Bob just loves to eat metal. That'll be his Christmas present. Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all the new subscribers. I mean, Don keeps reminding me that 2 years ago there was only about 200 subscribers, and now sometime this year we'll knock over 10,000, and Don says that'll change everything. Thank you. Ooh.
Some lunch.
Lunch.
I need my tablet.